Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am your host, Kate Hamilton. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to talk to you a little bit about my one-to-one online coaching service. So I have just recently opened up my one-to-one online coaching service, and I'm taking on clients. Now it'll be really limited. I'll only be taking on 10 people. And what the one-to-one online coaching service is, so it's completely different to the Nourish, Move and Shine program. The Nourish, Move and Shine program is group coaching. And it's group coaching where I take people on every 6 weeks or so. And I have 2 groups going at the one time, and it's a 12-week program, which is fantastic. And it's quite hands-on group coaching. Whereas the one-to-one online coaching is completely personalized. And I would argue that it's even more personal than face-to-face personal training, because we literally work one-to-one in such a personal way on all aspects of your lifestyle and your life goals, your fitness goals, your nutrition. So basically what happens is if it's something you're interested in, we get together on a Zoom call, and we discuss your goals, your lifestyle, your current situation, what you can where you're realistically at with pushing forward with habits, and we figure out where we're going to start. Okay, and I go away anyway, and then I make a completely personalized workout program and lifestyle plan and everything for you. And then we'll come back. We have another call, and in that call, I run through your program, the week ahead for you, exactly what kind of goals we're going to set. And then each week what we'll do is we set targets. So we have a good chat every single week on Zoom. You go off, then you hit your targets, your workouts, your steps, whatever your nutrition goals, whatever we have decided together. Okay, so it's not me throwing something at you and telling you have to do it. We're going to build this together, and you'll go off for your week and do it. You'll have me in your pocket. You'll be able to text me anytime you want, any questions you have. It's very one-to-one, and you will then do everything you need to do for the week. Come back, then we'll have our meeting again the following week. Every week we'll have a Zoom meeting, and we'll review how your week went, what you found difficult, what you hated, what you liked. We'll build from there and keep moving you forward and working through any blocks that you come across along the way. So personalized, completely led by you. We work together as a team and just help you to actually achieve the goals in the life that you want to achieve. So I'm really, really excited to work with people in this capacity. So if it's something that you're interested in, please do message me. Okay, so you'll get me on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok at katehamiltonhealth, or you can email me katehamiltonhealth@gmail.com. I will share all those things in the show notes as well anyway, so you can just click on that and have a look. So anyway, on with today's episode. So today's episode is, I think we're on episode number 9 now, and it is a Q&A. Okay, so I put a question box out on Instagram there during the week that I was going to do this podcast. So these are any questions that came up through that, and also a few questions that have come up in my the ladies that I'm working with in my program as well, in Nourish, Move and Shine. So just some things that seem to be coming up a good bit there, and then some questions that came through on Instagram. So I put together 7 questions. So I will start working through them now. Okay. So number 1, can I reach protein at each meal without supplementing? Sorry, not can I. How can I reach protein at each meal without supplementing? Okay, so this very much depends. Okay, so this will depend on what your protein goal is. Now, the women that I work with in my program, I don't recommend that we track macros. So macros being your protein, carbs and fats, that we track every gram of protein and carbohydrates and fats that we're having. I just don't think it's necessary unless it's extreme body composition that we're looking for, or sports performance. It's just not necessary, and that level of precision. So what I actually recommend for my ladies is that, track your calories. If that's the stage you're at and you're managing it well and you're enjoying it, then you're going to track your calories. But when it comes to protein, I would say it is just really, really important that you get protein in with every single meal. So that's where I'd start first. Have protein with your breakfast. Have protein with your lunch. Have protein with your dinner. if you're having an evening snack or a supper, have protein with that as well. So that's where I'd start. How much of it? I would just start with getting a bit of it in. And then if you want to get a bit better with protein, you feel like you're still hungry and you're not getting enough protein, then I would use the hand portion. So I would go 1 palm to 2 palms. So a palm of your hand, that size protein with each meal. So with women, I'd say 1 to 2 palms of protein with each meal should cover it. And so like start with 1, see how that feels. And if you feel you're still hungry and you feel like you're not getting enough, then add maybe 2 pounds of protein to one of your meals, like maybe your dinner. So that's the way I would go, rather than looking on MyFitnessPal and trying to track the actual grams of protein. Now, if you're listening to this and you're at the stage that you do enjoy doing that, the minimum daily requirement for protein, they say, is 0.8 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So, for example, if you weigh 65 kilos, then you're going 65 multiplied by 0.8. But that's the absolute minimum to be somewhat healthy. So that's going to be less, I don't even know what that is, I'm not going to try and multiply that in my head, but it's less than 65 grams of protein per day. Now that's not grams of protein sources, that's when you input your chicken fillets, your Greek yogurt, your protein, whatever, everything that you've had, that the actual amount of protein from all of your food has come to 65 grams. That is far too low, especially if you're strength training. Even if you're not strength training, it's still far too low. So that is the minimum requirement. Now, what I've had recommended to me before is trying to aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So let's just say you weigh 150 pounds, then you'd be trying to eat 150 grams of protein. That is actually quite hard to do. So I like to aim somewhere in the middle. If I was tracking my macros, I'd usually aim for about 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. But it really is a rabbit hole that you don't need to go down. Like I said, I would stick with the pans or just getting a protein source with each meal. That is what I do. It's more than enough. It works well. Listen to your body. If you're craving sugary stuff, if you're hungry, you need more protein in your meals. Now, when it comes to actually adding them into your meals, you can get it solely from food. So getting, obviously, meat sources are a great way to get your protein in. Your lean chicken, your chicken, turkey, lean mince, your fish, all of that kind of stuff is great. If you're vegetarian, then obviously you're going to be relying a bit more on eggs, on Greek yogurt. And then if you are vegan, we are talking kind of chickpeas, lentils, and plant sources of protein. But if you're like me, so if you're vegetarian or if you're vegan, I'm not vegetarian or vegan, but I am someone who's not great at eating a whole lot of meat. Like I would have meat with my dinner, and that's usually it. So what I rely a lot on dairy sources for my protein. So I get a lot of protein from Greek yogurt or from protein yogurts, and from eggs and nut butters. There's a certain amount of protein in that. They would be the things that I would rely on a lot. But because I like to try and get up past that kind of 100 grams of protein per day, even though I don't track it. You know, I did track it at one stage, and I knew I needed that extra bit with the protein powder. So I use Whey isolate protein powder. I use vanilla and I put it into my smoothie every single morning. So I know it's just a great way to start the day. I'm never hungry with that protein smoothie then. I'm filled for the day, for the morning, and I don't feel the need to snack or be hungry. I'm not hungry until lunchtime. And since I put that in place, I always keep that in place. Now, I know I have ladies on the program that like to put it into their porridge. I can't bear the taste of it in porridge, but other people can. So it's about finding what works for you. But protein powder is a great way, if you're not great with getting it from your food sources, to supplement. It's not necessary, but I find it really handy. Vanilla, I find the best because I don't want to be having chocolate one in the morning with my smoothie. But some people like it, and it can be put into like overnight oats, or people just like to have it as a protein shake, mix it with water. All the what to do is basically told on the tub. So just go with what works for you and what fits into your life if you wanted to try it. So I would always recommend Whey Isolate because it is the best, it's the purest form. So you're getting less shit in it basically. Now, it's dairy, obviously, whey is dairy. So what I would say is if you are lactose intolerant or you are vegan, then try and go with, if you go onto MyProtein or onto discount supplements, you can get different vegan or plant-based proteins. So like a pea protein or something like that are usually good to try and just include that powder somewhere in your day with what works. And like I said, try the porridge, try the smoothie, try the shake, figure out what way you like it best and add it in. There's not a huge amount of calories in protein powder, like you might be talking 100 or 200 calories, but it's worth it for getting that extra bit of protein, and it's going to make you crave a lot less. And you naturally will eat just that little bit less carbohydrates. Now, I'm not like everyone needs carbohydrates, but we tend to have a very carb heavy diet, so increasing the protein just brings that better balance to your day. So that is what I would recommend in relation to that question. Okay, right. Number 2, I'm a busy working mum. Some days feel impossible. Tips for sticking with my healthy routine. Okay, so I totally get that. It is so overwhelming. So what I would say is organization here is going to be everything. So if you have one day a week, even if it's a Sunday, so one day a week where you have some help at home with your kids, where you can have time to just sit down, plan out your week. And I don't just mean plan out your eating for the week. Like I sit down and I have like this planner and I plan out what I'm doing every day for the week ahead. What days am I busiest? What days are there any days that I need to actually cook meals in advance? And if I do, I try and do it on that day when I'm busy. Now, I tend not to. I just tend to just go for a quicker, easier meal on the busier days. So like I would often do like salmon and baby potatoes, like throw the salmon in the tin foil into the oven and baby potatoes into the pot, and just throw some frozen vegetables into the pot and do it really so it's literally a really throw everything in dinner while I can be kind of tidying up and doing homework with the kids at the same time. And it's healthy. It's not very creative. It's very plain, but I'm so busy that I don't actually care. Everyone's fed. It's healthy. So I find, picking the easier meals on those days and then going with the more creative. Like I love cooking at this korma recipe that I love. And I usually cook it at least once every 2 or 3 weeks. But it will always be on a day when I have plenty of time at home to do it, because like the chopping of the vegetables, it takes so much time. And so anything creative like that takes a little bit more time, and vegetable chopping. Obviously, sometimes, we just don't have time for it. And just obviously knowing what you're going to have for lunch and breakfast and snacks each day, and having the stuff in the house, keeping it simple. There's nothing wrong with having a sandwich, some chopped vegetables and fruit and stuff on the side, maybe some nuts and a yogurt. We don't have to be having these big fancy lunches. What works for you, go with that. Just make sure that you have enough stuff to snack on, vegetables, and make sure there's enough protein in your sandwich or alongside your sandwich, or have a protein yogurt with it to keep you feeling full. So that's what I would say in relation to that. And I'll try to think. I was going to say something else on that there, and I've gone blank. But yeah, so just really trying to keep things as simple as possible. And on the days where you're in the office and then you collect the kids from creche and you're home and you're at home alone with the kids or whatever it is, that might be a day where you're not going to hit your 10,000 steps. And so what? Make up for it another day when you're out and about with the kids, when you're working from home, when you have time to get your steps in, when you're not working that day, whatever it is. So just go easy on yourself. You can only manage what you can manage, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. So what I'd say is days where they're absolutely hectic, just try and drink the water. Try and just get healthy food into you. Even if you don't have time to track, that's fine. And just try and get to bed early and get some sleep. Keep the stress levels low. If your healthy lifestyle is adding more stress to your life than helping it, then it's counterproductive. You're not going to be getting any benefit from it. So it's about finding a place to be able to reach your goals, but not overwhelm yourself at the same time. So again, I would say look back on that episode. I think it's episode 7 I did on overwhelm, and I talk all about this continuum of a healthy lifestyle, and it's also on my Instagram page, this healthy lifestyle continuum, and it's basically the cycle that you hop on. There's no wagon, you don't have to be off or on it, and you just find where you're at and you push forward on the easier days and the easier weeks, and you kind of go into survival mode and keep the habits that you have down in place on the days that are harder. And that's kind of how you end up making progress long term. So that is question 2. So number 3, it actually ties in nicely with what I was just saying. I fell off the wagon. How do I start again? Okay, So there is no wagon. Forget about the wagon. Put the wagon to the side of the road and set it on fire. There is no wagon anymore. What I want you to think of it is a healthy lifestyle continuum. I'm going to put this on my my Instagram again. It's up on my Instagram, but it is everything. It is basically how I live my life and how I guide my clients to live their life. So what it is it's a cycle basically of 10 habits, starting at the very basic rest and recovery. Then it moves on to whole foods, so including as much whole foods as you can. Daily movement, number 3. Hydration, number 4. And it works all the way up as far as number 10, which is supplements and sports performance, which most people don't ever need to go that far. But even tracking your calories is number 7 on that continuum. So what that means is you figure out when you're starting. So if you've fallen off the wagon, the wagon's gone now, you've burnt it, gone. So now you're going to get on this continuum and you're never going to come off this continuum ever again. So what you'll do is you'll hop on wherever you're at. So you might say, okay, my sleep hasn't been great, but I can get that in place very quickly. So you start at number 1. You might just focus on your sleep for the first 2 days. You'll be like, right, I can keep this routine going. That's not hard. Then you're going to go and you're going to add some more whole foods to your diet. You're going to crowd them out. You're not going to restrict anything at this stage. You're like, how can I make this meal more healthy? You're going to add some vegetables, add some fruit, add some lean protein, cut out some of the processed food and replace it with good whole foods, but then still enjoying the things that you enjoy. That's what you're going to do. And you'll find that way you'll start to feel better. You'll have more energy. You'll want to keep eating that way because it's making you feel good, and you'll be crowding out a lot of the other processed food that you won't end up eating as much of it because you'll actually be full and nourished from what you've been eating. So that might take a while. So you might literally stay on stage 2 for a while. And that's fine. You could stay on stage 2 for weeks if that's all you focus on. And if your lifestyle was particularly all over the place beforehand and your sleep was really bad and you're eating a lot of processed food, you're going to notice a difference in body composition fairly quickly, energy levels. By just doing that, you'll probably lose weight by simply just doing that. Then when you're ready, you're going to add in daily movement. Daily movement could be a walk. It could be a fitness class. It could be a workout. It could be going out on your bike. Whatever it is that you enjoy, it doesn't matter. But you need to move your body every day. You obviously, the rest and recovery would mean rest days from the gym. If you're strength training or you're working out pretty hard, rest days are needed. But you never need a rest day from walking. So I'll say that again. You never need a rest day from walking. Move your body every single day. So if you put those 3 habits in place, and that takes you months, so what? Think how much healthier you're going to feel, how much happier you're going to feel. I guarantee you'll start making movement towards your goals. And we haven't even talked about a calorie yet. And there's more habits all the way along this continuum up to calorie counting at number 7. So, start where you are and push yourself. And then when you're ready to push on a little further, go on to the next habit. And then, I go by this continuum and I always go to from 1 to 6. 1 to 6 I have down. I have those habits down and I can keep going that way no matter how busy or stressful my life gets. I'll get those first 6 habits in. Number 7, tracking calories. When it suits me and when my goals align with it and when my lifestyle suits it and things aren't too hectic and there's not too much going on in my life and I have time, I will track my calories, but not always. And I'll pull back to what I can do. And that's really important because life is going to get in the way, especially if you've kids. You've got kids starting school, maybe someone's sick, maybe you've got stressful situations going on in work. Maybe there's a family member that you're taking care of that's in hospital. There's lots that could be going on in life. And maybe you've been on holidays, maybe there's a wedding. There's lots coming up in everyone's lives. And instead of falling off a wagon, you just take a few steps back on the continuum and hold where you can manage and then push forward when you're ready. And that's literally all you have to do for the rest of your life. And it's actually the most freeing feeling in the world. So go back and find it. Continuum, the Healthy Lifestyle Continuum. It's on my Instagram page, but it's episode 7 of the podcast. And I'll also share it on my page again because it's so important. Okay. Number 4, best high protein snacks. Okay, so this is going to obviously be very personal to your own tastes. And if you Google this, you'll get loads of different ideas. But like I said, my protein smoothie in the morning, I have it for breakfast, but it could also be a fantastic snack. Or just, protein shake can be great. And stuff like tuna on crackers, or tuna sandwich even, protein yogurts, or Aldi do these protein pouches as well that you can literally just throw in your handbag and eat out of the pouch. They're great for just kind of, a snack that's going to fill you a little bit. And things like bagel pins or Slimbos, and putting some, like deli meat on it, like turkey, chicken, ham, anything like good quality ham, anything like that can be a good way to go. Or overnight oats. I have overnight oats for supper every evening, and I put loads of Greek yogurt. So actually 0% fat Greek yogurt is higher in protein than the full fat Greek yogurt. So like, I don't necessarily promote low fat or 0% fat stuff, but the natural Greek yogurt and the 0% fat is actually higher in protein. So I use it as a protein source, so I'll always go with the 0% fat. Because it's got that bit more. And just remember that Greek yogurt is different to Greek style yogurt. Greek style yogurt is not as high in protein. Greek yogurt is high in protein. And actually that Icelandic yogurt, skyr, I don't know if that's pronounced right, skyr, I don't know. Anyway, that is even higher in protein again. So it's about finding what works. Cottage cheese is another great protein source. Even stuff just like sliced hard-boiled eggs on crackers and things like that all work really, really nicely. Okay, so next one, low calorie treat suggestions. When it comes to low calorie treats, what I suggest is that you include something that you enjoy. So your low calorie treats need to be something that you enjoy, because you take away everything you enjoy and try and replace them with new things, you're going to feel overwhelmed. So I love chocolate. So Freddos, twirls, any of those the treat-sized bars, I would always kind of have some of them, and they're individually wrapped, so it's not like a packet of biscuits, or like don't be getting those share packs that, you open up and suddenly you've eaten the whole packet, because, we all do that. So what I'd say is get the individually wrapped. They're usually those little bars, even the Kit Kats or the Twixes and things like that, the little ones, they're only about 100 calories per treat. What I do in my house is, because obviously, once my kids have had their breakfast, lunch and dinner, I let them have a few treats or whatever in the day. I buy them the Aldi stuff, because the Aldi stuff I'm like, I could take it or leave it. So I won't snack on the Aldi stuff, but I buy the really nice Cadbury stuff for myself, and I keep it up in the top little shelf of the fridge. And I will put I just factor it into my calories. So in the evening time, I like to sit down with a cup of tea. I have my supper, and then I have a little chocolate bar. Sometimes I have two, depending on the day. And there's no guilt around it at all. I'm enjoying it. I've eaten healthy, well balanced all day long. So it's just something that I enjoy as part of my day. The same can be true of like the multi-pack crisps, the multi-pack popcorns. They are all doable within your calories. And if you do like biscuits, I would say like buy the packets, but like maybe just individually wrap them up for yourself so you have little portion sizes. Plan your calories the day before, or even if you're not tracking calories, plan your meals the day before and do it in moderation. I reckon if you save, 200 calories a day for something you enjoy, that's great. So that could be a full fill bar in the evening. It could be 2 Freddo bars. It could be one of those big bags of popcorn. Like if you're having if people in your house have microwave popcorn, just get the multi-packs of popcorn. Even if you have two bags of them, it doesn't matter. You know how many calories you've had. So it's all kind of managed a little bit better. So nothing's off limits if you plan it out, is what I'll say, rather than adding to your stress and trying to create all these fancy meals to creating all these fancy meals to try and make your life healthier. Have your healthy breakfast, lunch and dinner. Get those in place and enjoy something you enjoy within your day, basically. Yeah. So number 6. Can anyone take creatine? Yes. Okay. And in fact, I recommend that a lot of people probably should take creatine. So creatine, first of all, let's say, is not a steroid. Creatine is not a steroid. It is something that is actually created naturally in the body and can be found in some food sources like red meat and fish. It's not a protein, but it is created in the body, but we tend to not make enough of it. Now, what creatine does, okay, so it's just a little powder. It's tasteless. I put it in with my protein smoothie, but I know someone who just gets a scoop of it, puts it into their mouth and washes it down with a bit of water. It doesn't matter how you take your creatine. And it's a teeny tiny scoop, so it's not like the big scoops of protein powder. It's like, I think it's 4 grams or something that you take every day. And what it does is it improves your strength. Okay, it increases your lean muscle mass, and it helps your muscles recover during and after exercise. So not just, so it's not just for like muscle strength. It's not just for appearance. Some people are afraid that it's going to make them bulky. That's not what it does. It actually improves the health of the muscle cells, and it can become extremely beneficial to help maintain muscle mass as we age. So women heading towards menopause and postmenopause, it is recommended that you start taking creatine, you keep taking creatine, as it's going to help with the health of your muscles. And also because you are it's helping your muscles recover during and after exercise. If you're strength training, it's going to help prevent injury also. So along with a high protein diet, creatine is a fantastic supplement. Again, if it's something that you're unsure of, research it. There's so much research on creatine out there, so I won't go into it in too much details. But anywhere you go, it's going to tell you that, creatine is definitely something that you should consider. Not something you have to take if you don't want to, but if it's something you're considering, I would definitely say yes, go for it. And the last question, the difference between whey protein and whey isolate. Okay, so I went through this a little bit at the start when I was talking about protein at each meal. So whey isolate is the purest form of whey protein. So whey protein is a dairy source of getting protein. So basically it's kind of manufactured through the making of cheese. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, where you've got your curds and your whey. And the whey is has the most protein in it in that process. So it's taken from that process and created into a powder, and that gives you a pure form of protein for your diet. The problem with whey proteins, if you've ever gone on a site like MyProtein or discount supplements or anything like that, there is so much to choose from. So unless you actually know what you're talking about, it can be really hard. Now, I know I go into discount supplements in Greystones quite a bit, and they're so helpful. So if you're going into a supplement or a health shop, ask the staff. They're usually extremely helpful in what you should actually be buying. But people get caught up in the, they're like, oh, I need diet whey, or I need skinny whey, or there's all these branded shit basically out there that they're trying to sell you. You don't need any of that. It's full of shit. It's full of additives. It's full of chemicals. It's full of stuff that you don't need. Whey isolate probably tastes the least nice, but it's the purest form. So that's why it's actually why I created my protein smoothie in the first place. I put all of my berries in because I actually don't particularly like the taste of whey protein. Some people find it fine, but some people, like myself, wouldn't be a huge fan of it. So I like to try and mask the taste of it. So I added berries. I was like, oh, berries, I'm not hiding it. I added yogurt, Greek yogurt. I was like, that's not hiding the taste of it either. And then I found banana. The banana in the smoothie really helps hide the taste of it. But now I've obviously grown to develop a taste for it as well. And I actually really enjoy the taste of my smoothie. But it's definitely worth going whey isolate and just looking kind of at the products that you're getting, but isolate is the way to go if we're talking whey. Now, the plant-based proteins tend to be a little bit purer, but again, don't buy into any gimmicks. Just look for plant-based proteins, pea protein, stuff like that, rather than going. And obviously, if something is Coca-Cola flavored, it's not going to be as pure as something that isn't flavored. Now, the unflavored can be pretty rough, so I do go vanilla flavored. So there is obviously a certain amount of sweetener gone into it, but compared to other brands and other types of protein, definitely isolate. You're getting the most protein per gram, basically. So it's definitely the way to go. So that is all the questions for this week. So I hope you found some value in anything I have been saying there. And yes, so I will just again say, if you are interested in the one-to-one online coaching, like I mentioned at the start, do contact me. You can connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook, or on TikTok at katehamiltonhealth, or you can email me at katehamiltonhealth@gmail.com. And I will catch you all next week.